Hello everybody, it's Paul again, back in his garage. I've got a neat little project that I wanted to share with you guys. Has to do with putting yourself against bridge pilings and the challenge we have not to get totally beat up against the pilings. A lot of you guys that have the trolling motors with spot lock, that's just awesome. Sometimes under the bridge though, or if it's a big wide bridge, sometimes your GPS goes a little goofy and you just can't quite hang on, and so somebody's constantly playing with their remote to keep your boat where you want to so that you can sheep's head fish. Or also the big black drum like to hang out the bottom of bridge pilings, big reds sometimes. You name it, there's always a bridge monster around if you're in the right spot. Anyway, one of the things I do, and I thought I'd share that with you, is that I've got this previously dedicated kayak folding anchor kit. I got the anchor snagged really bad one time and lost the anchor. So this is a little bit shorter than what I originally got it with. But this is what I use at the bridge pilings. And I'll try to do this all one-handed so I can show everybody what I'm doing. So basically, if I'm pretending this is water out here and I've got a strong current, I'm going to toss this next to the piling out in front of, upstream from the current. So when I do that, I'm going to toss this out there. If the bridge piling was on this side, let's say, and the current's going this way, this buoy is going to float all the clip and everything, and that stainless steel clasp adds a little weight for throwing. So it's real easy to give it a toss out into the current, and then as the current's grabbing this, it's going to go around the piling. And then the next step I do is go at it with a boat hook. And so this is a telescopic boat hook. I extend this out. I'm still next to the piling. I'm going to grab onto the rope on one end of this and just demonstrate. Hook on, and once I've caught it, I can bring it back towards the boat. So once I've got it back to the boat, what I like to do is I like to have the boat midships, if you will, against the piling. I like to be kind of in the middle of the piling with the boat. That way I can go ahead on the boat or behind on the boat and have one or more pilings to choose from. And conveniently for me and my little John boat here are these rowing cleats. So I just pinch my line, push it through after I've retrieved. So I'm wrapped around my piling now. And now I just grab this again, one-handed. And as the boat starts tightening up against the line wrapped around the piling, this is going to just stay in place. And then to let go of everything, or if I had to get out of the way, I could just unclip real quick here and be free. But like I said, so that way I can be towards the back of the boat at one piling, go up towards the front of the boat, and be at a completely different piling. Now, what I solved today was, what do you do with a nice boat and you're up against the most grungy pilings around? I mean, it's pure barnacles and splinters and, chunks of concrete sticking out, whatever it happens to be. You've got a nasty mess to be up against. And I do like to go right up against it. It's fine when you've got the constant current kind of keeping you a little bit spaced. But all it takes is a boat to go by, and then you're going to get yourself pushed in against the piling. And when that happens, especially at lower tides, you've got 100% barnacles just rashing, scraping, shining the side of your boat. Now, a lot of people can reply right away and say, oh, it don't matter on a John boat, you can't hurt it. That's probably true. But for the sake of keeping the boat as nice as possible, I like to see if I could do something about that. So this is going to help not only John boats, but any open boat where you've got any kind of long gunnel run that you can get in more than one place. So coming back over here for a second, I took 1 inch or half-inch PVC pipe. Here's a whole kit that I've measured out, and a fender. And the fender here is key, because I'm going to make this fender be the sacrificial, device between the piling and my boat. And to do all this, I turned it into a frame. I'll come back to the tools, but literally this is the top of your garbage can kind of build. You don't need anything fancy. Tape measure, PVC cutter, hacksaw, that works fine. Sharpie or something to mark your measurements. Some zip ties, it's always good. This is leftover old yoga mat, and I use this for all sorts of things. So a little piece of the yoga mat here that I used, and I'll show you in a second, zip ties. But make it a little quicker here, here's what I built. And what this is a self-hanging fender that can literally go over my gunnel and go anywhere along the boat I want. If I want that all the way up here, I can even put this all the way up on the bar, on the bow. Lifts up a little bit and comes right off. And what I've got here, you can see my yoga mat here. I'm gonna glue these into place here so they don't keep popping out on me. But anyway, so what this does, is it frames out the PVC. You put some zip ties on to hold it into your frame, and then the measurements for your boat are going to be different than my boat. So the only thing I can help in this video is how you match this up for this bottom frame to the 2 T's, and then after that, how high up you want your fender against your boat, whether you want it up way high or you need to go a little lower. And then the width of your gunnel is going to be different between boats. How much down you need to go before you can get underneath your gunnel to get behind it. And then so the lengths behind that are going to change as well. So, but what this lets me do is line this up next to where the piling is. And then we'll just, I can put this anywhere I want on the boat. It'll just fit everywhere, and it's going to, the boat's going to be pushed on. This fender's going to push up against the hull, keep you off the piling, and no matter how I've tied off to the piling, I can set this, perpendicular beside the piling, so that'll just give me, even up here on the seats, it works. So anywhere I want to be, I can hang this over the side. The yoga mat stuff here is to keep it from slipping. I've got a smooth surface here, and so over time this thing could probably creep along forward or backward depending how you're rubbing, and that rubber mat just kind of gives it a little extra friction to keep it from sliding. So that's why I did that. Seeing the finished product here, I can go back to the kit table. I'm not going to try to put one together in real time, but what I've done is, I made lots of little adjustments here. I put myself together unglued, and then if something was too short or too long, I could go back with my little pipe cutters there and change the dimensions. And then so I've got all of this exactly where I want it now for this boat. And maybe a lot of little John boats that have the round gunnel here on top. The dimensions are real easy to do. To frame this out, you take whatever fender, and because there's a zillion fenders out there, depending on which ones you have, they could be bigger, they can be longer, however they are, different colors, etc. But to make the frame, you measure your overall length. So from one end here outside to the other end here, and that's what you cut your PVC for. The PVC is cut, mine was 15 inches long, so I cut that to 15 inches exactly. And then when you put your elbows and tees on, that gives you a little bit extra room so that it actually fits inside the frame. Now for the height, again, so now the diameter of your fender, you cut the two uprights to be the same as the diameter of your fender. And then again, your tees and elbows give you a little extra room when you're all done and over with. So bringing these two pieces back, you can see that once I put these inside the tees, it finishes off very nice to fit right here, and then the zip ties hold it in place. And so anything that's wearing out, you can replace the fender. If it's getting all cut up and gouged, just cut 2 zip ties and put in a new fender of the same size and you're good to go. The uprights here, again, were used for the diameter of the fender that you're using here, so that gives you the spacing between the top and bottom bars here. And maybe you don't need this, but I saw this online on a YouTube video, and you know what, I'm not gonna knock what works. So this is how they were built, so I just copied the same thing. And then, like I said, all the rest of the dimensions here are gonna change for your boat. So how high up this next little riser piece goes to the next elbow. So altogether you need 8 elbows and 2 tees, and that gives you the complete kit. So 1, 2, 3, 4 elbows on 4 on each side. So there's your 8 elbows, and the 2 tees are right here. And then, like I said, I used Schedule 40 1/2-inch PVC. So this is the thicker wall, a little more heavy duty. But the thing behind this is the little grips here. This is not going to immediately lift off without giving it a little angle first and then bringing it up. And I kind of like that. So I'm trying to think, what else can I tell you about? Oh, my very light, fairly inexpensive yoga blocks I'm using as spacers. That way when I'm out running around, my cooler stays where it is, so I can open and close the cooler. Without the yoga blocks, this would go right up against the back of the seat here. And, you know, I constantly had to keep pushing it out of the way to be able to unlatch and open up the cooler. I did this up front also on the other side of the cooler to keep my rod holder, PVC rod holder kit, intact, so it wouldn't creep back. And then this is just my bag of life preservers and a throwable in there. So anyway, I hope this helps. I hope you guys get a kick out of giving this a try. It certainly will save your boat from a lot of wear and tear up against the pilings when you're sheep's head fishing. I know quite a few folks actually now that have a new boat or new to them boat, and maybe what's holding you back from sheep's head fishing is the whole concept of rubbing it to death against the piling. You're gonna be against the pilings, you wanna be against the pilings, you wanna be able to drop straight down in the eddy currents around the pilings, and no better way than doing that than getting yourself really tied in and attached to the side of the piling. That way, you know what your line's doing, and again, if you're in the middle of a piling, half your boat's in front and half your boat's in back, tying off mid-section here. I like doing that. That way I get more than one piling to fish before I have to move. Anyway, it was kind of a lot of info all thrown together here at once, but if you have any questions, leave them in the comments or get a hold of me on Facebook, and I will talk to you later. Bye.